dose of Tuddle.
The all-time greatest intern/producer we've ever had, of course, Tuddle in Florida.
From the Hobo Fish Camp, it's the Tuddle Daily Podcast.
No wonder nobody likes you, Tuddle. Everything's a goddamn debate.
All right, guys, greetings and welcome to another edition of the Tuddle Daily Podcast. Hopefully everybody had a great weekend. A couple of ways you can get a hold of me. You can email me. Tuddle@gmail.com. That's Tuddle with 2 D's, Tuddle @gmail.com. I will also reply to any of your comments in the chat room. But if you would like to call, you can easily do that. 407-270-3044. Yeah, Fozzie says, happy Columbus Day. You know, I can see why people get upset about Columbus Day, because I think that they also made Columbus Day Indigenous People Day as well, too. I don't know how I feel about that. I didn't know that Columbus Day was a big holiday for the Italians. I know I shouldn't say Italians. But I watched The Sopranos back in the day, and that's the only reason that I know that the Italians love Columbus Day. They absolutely love Columbus Day. But then there are some people that look at Columbus Day and they're like, oh, yeah. Well, I mean, come on. Fozzie, what is an indigenous Indians. Yeah, the Indians. That's indigenous. Dave Bauer says the New York Stock Exchange was open today. Well, okay, so the U.S. Postal Service closed, banks closed. But let's be honest, people. Those institutions are closed on any random holiday. We didn't get the mail today. You couldn't go to the bank and talk to somebody in person because of Columbus Day. So, I don't know. But I mean, Dave's saying the New York Stock Exchange was open today, so I guess greed. Well, banks, see, if banks aren't open, you can't take money out of them. I mean, you can at the ATM, but only so much. Fozzie, if you will, what did he say? Fozzie, if you will, says, they don't want a GD day. They had an entire football team and didn't want them. I don't know. I mean, that's your opinion. It's definitely your opinion, Fozzie. Fozzie says, you know what? I'll put it up there, but I'm not going to say it. I got to close my email so you're not getting a bunch of stuff. There we go. Let me get rid of that. Ramiro Gonzalez says, I like lasagna. So this week, guys, and I know Fozzie even called me out on it. He called me part-time Pat the other day on social media. And I get that. I completely, I'll own that. I will own that, Fozzie. I will own part-time Pat. But, like, I've been really, really busy with my new show or my new job. I'm doing this show. I'm trying to, make a life for myself, start financially becoming stable. And I'm making really, really good money. I'm not trying to self-floss or anything right now. I mean, it's not a lot of money, but compared to what I was making in radio and stuff, I'm doing quite well right now. I am. So Friday night, I got done with all my work, and then I drove up to the Jacksonville area. I went up to Jacksonville because Vulture, who if I'm being honest, the only reason you get the Tuddle Daily podcast is because of Vulture. The only reason that I ever decided to do the podcast is because of Vulture. Vulture is a Marine, hardcore Marine, lifelong military guy. Was a fan of mine from being on Bubba's show. I was down and out. Vulture Lake. Vulture's call signal as a Marine was Vulture. Vulture. So he wanted me, he said he would help with the podcast and stuff. And that's why I started the podcast. And he helped me out. I was recording it on my phone and my PT Cruiser at the Hobo Fish Camp. He would help me out with everything, give me ideas. Yeah, Vulture. Fozzie, thank you. You know what? I know you're a Jim Rome fan, so I'm going to give you a tongue. I'm going to give you a tongue on the mic. Vulture is my Tom Bean. But, like, Vulture doesn't own a bunch of chain of Papa John restaurants like Tom Bean did. But Vulture has really, really helped me out. So he was like, hey, I need your help. My wife, she works for this nonprofit and we're doing a fundraiser. And I don't pay a lot of attention to it. I just say, yeah, whatever you need, I will help you out. I didn't even know what the fundraiser was for, but I did it. I said, yes, I'll be there. So Friday, I went up, I stayed with Vulture. Oh, by the way, I had my first experience because I've never had kids, but I went up early and Vulture asked me to pick up his son. So this was the first time that I ever had to experience the pickup line at a high school, the carpool lane. And you would think, oh, yo, it's not that bad. No. In the carpool lane, it is worse than anything you will ever see in the worst high traffic cities in the state of Florida. Tampa, Orlando, Miami, Jacksonville. You don't have anything on waiting in the carpool line because they play for keeps. You will get a Karen. You will get a mom that will not give you an inch. Some of the road rage, and you're not even going that fast. If you don't hold a high, tight line, if you give a Karen or a mom wanting to pick up her kid in the carpool line, if you give them an inch, they will take a mile. And they will lay on the horn. They will use sign language. If you know what I'm talking about, they will give you the double bird finger like it's nothing. They're like, let's fucking go. Let's fucking go. You're going to give me any amount of space. Let's fucking go. Cause I'm getting in there. And I know that I'm going to sound like the old man, but my God, what a bunch of pussies that are getting out of school every single day. My God. I know that everybody thinks that their generation is the best, but man, oh man. When did it become cool to just be a hipster? I mean, it was bad. It was so bad. The Jolly Gator, when they do that, I give them the Gene Simmons tongue like I'm their... Okay. All right. I mean, I see you. I know what you're talking about, the Jolly Gator. So I got in there, and then once I got out, I picked up Vulture's son, brought him back, and then he wanted to go get boba tea. I have never had boba tea. I've heard a lot about boba tea this, boba tea that. So went and got some boba tea, and it was next to an Asian restaurant called Foking. I know that it's very childish. I got people calling in. Yep, sorry. I'm off the clock right now. So Boynton Beach, I apologize. I'll get back with you after the show. But I went to go get boba tea. I mean, it's not bad, but I'm a big texture type eater. And boba tea, I mean, I liked it because I got the coffee boba tea, but I don't like the little balls that you suck up through the big ass straw, and then you chew them and they explode into your mouth and everything. I know it sounds very erotic the way that I explained it, but I mean, I can see why people like boba tea and stuff. I'm good with just the coffee. So Friday night, I did that. And then Saturday morning, had to get up early for the fundraiser. It was like one of these half marathon type things in downtown Jacksonville. And I know a lot of people probably think that Jacksonville, they hear a lot of stories. I got to tell you, I took a picture and I posted it. If you go on my Twitter, Facebook, or Instagram, twitter.com/Tuddle, facebook.com/Tuddle, twitter.com/Tuddle, you'll see the picture. Downtown Jacksonville is beautiful. It is. Because, I mean, that is where the St. Johns River empties out into the Atlantic Ocean here in the state of Florida. And it's beautiful. I love water. I love all that stuff. Fozzie, what Fozzie say? Fozzie, they have a restaurant over here called the Bish. Okay. I'm not going to say that, but I'll leave it up there. They have a restaurant over here called the Bish, and I'll leave it at that. Swear to God. Fozzie, Jacksonville had Pervin Liar for a year. They ran his ass. Sorry. So I went up there, and then when I got to the fundraiser, helping set up, me and Vulture. So, you know, when they have the runs, they have the start finish line. Wait, hold on. Let me see this. Servap Singh OG. You look and remind me of Louis Theroux. Why does that name Louis Theroux? That name Louis Theroux kind of, I don't know. Why does that sound so familiar to me? Louis Theroux. Louis Theroux. Louis Theroux is an English-American documentary journalist, broadcaster, and author. He received 2 British Academy Television Awards and a Royal Television Society. Well, Sir Vap. I'm looking at his Wikipedia right now, and thank you, man. Thank you. I really, I think that is a great thing. And I'm going to check out his stuff. Hey, Sir Vap, is this the first time you checking out the show? Because, like, I'm really interested. I've never seen you make a comment, but I really appreciate you checking out everything. Seriously. Servap, and I know I'm probably butchering the name Servap, but if you could email me, man, I would love to chat with you. If you could email me, Tuddle@gmail.com. Seriously, though, I always like it when new people check it out. So I went to do this help out for the fundraiser, and then when I found out what the fundraiser was for, it was for
Living as a wife and a mother of two.
And I was like, you know what? This worked out brilliantly, and I want to do a lot more stuff with Nami.
Leah Tipley is thriving as a wife and a mother of two with a third child on the way. But what people may not see is Tipley has bipolar depression diagnosed in 2015. She spent many years ignoring her warning signs throughout high school and in college.
I thought I was too strong to be depressed, and I learned the hard way. But
Tipley tried to take her own.
And that is the truth, people. Like, I had a meeting with my psychiatrist today. You know, now with this new job that I have insurance, I'm seeing a psychiatrist. I am also seeing a therapist, but I had seen this one therapist for about 3 weeks. Was not working for me. I'm not saying that the therapist was bad. See, what ends up happening is when you go see a therapist, people hold back. Not me. Like, I drop a lot of heavy ass shit on my therapist. And I want my therapist to challenge me. And the therapist, I mean, I get it. It's not that she's bad, but I will drop a lot of heavy ass stuff on my therapist. And instead of like challenging me on things, it's more like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry that you had to go through that. Yeah, I know it sucks. It sucks with a lot of the stuff that I had to go through. But I mean, look, I appreciate that you're listening to me talk about a lot of fucked up stuff that has happened in my life. But I don't need you to go, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am so sorry. Oh. No, I don't want that. Yeah, Fozzie. So I know that you're joking. Fozzie says you want your therapist to call BS. It's not that what I'm saying is BS, but I want my therapist to at least challenge me a little bit. Kind of hold my feet to the fire somewhat. I just don't need some empathetic ear and just somebody, oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, I don't need that. I don't need that at all. So my psychiatrist is getting me a new therapist. Also, by the way, the therapist I've been seeing is over this telehealth. So it's like I'm on a web camera talking to somebody. No, I'm sorry. I think there is a big difference in therapy over a webcam and stuff. Because when you're in the same room with somebody, you can feed off of somebody's energy. That's the way that I think. That's the way that I think it is. Fozzie, thank you. Great use of the start-stop. The Jolly Gator, Mike Love, Permanent Holiday. Mike Love, anything from Mike Love is therapy and music. Man, I promise you. I'll have to check that out. Deadhead CTT says, we miss you on the Bubba Show. Thank you. Appreciate that. So I was a part of this fundraiser, and it's great because they're doing great work. Wait, why is this not running? Hold on.
Own life in 2014 at 25 years old.
And the Jolly Getter, call me. 407-270-3044.
Because I truly felt and believed that the world was a better place without me. And that is something that is not true. But unfortunately, this disease makes you truly feel that way.
Georgia.
But she sought the help she realized she needed and is now advocating for people to do the same. Tipley is not alone. Hundreds of people laced up their sneakers for a 5K walk on Saturday, raising money for Jacksonville's chapter of the National Alliance on Mental Illness, also known as NAMI Jacksonville.
Look at that. All right. So do you see this little arch here, this blue arch where it says start? Myself and Vulture and his son were pitting this up at 5 o'clock in the morning. And a lot of you guys are like, oh, how hard can that be? I got to tell you, pretty fucking hard. Pretty hard. Because this thing only gets used once a year. And that little start thing there, you know, when you blow it up, you can't adjust it because the air pressure makes it so tight you can't pull it around. I mean, we ended up getting it, and I think it turned out really good. And I know, like, I shouldn't be overexcited that myself and my producer Vulture and his son were able to put up this little start finish line blow up thing, but we did. We did. Oh, Fozzie, you did. I'm glad you brought that up, Fozzie, if you will. If you didn't anchor it down properly, you are fizzucked. Yes, you are. We had plenty of sandbags. I had competing anchors. I had pulling to and from on both sides. Had it working well. The guide wires that I had it tied down with, I put up balloons. I hung balloons off of the ropes. So it was not a hazard where somebody would trip over the line or clothesline themselves. Had balloons all up. I covered everybody's asses. I did. Fozzie liked the bounce houses that would blow away all the time with kids inside. No, this thing was not. This start finish blow up line was not going anywhere at all.
Executive Director Suzanne Mayu says that money will go to the...
I'm a big fan of Suzanne. What up, Suzanne?
Executive Director Suzanne Mayu.
Yeah, Suzanne.
Who says that money will go to the 10 different programs that the organization offers to those living with mental health conditions and their families. Resources like support groups and education courses are all free. The goal for NAMI Jacksonville with this...
Look at that. See those balloons? I hung those balloons over there. If you look off of his right shoulder there, because there is a guideline. If you look, there's a guideline going down to some sandbags. I was like, I'm not going to let anybody sue this nonprofit. I put up balloons there. And this guy, he came out.
5K walk and run today, which raised about $85,000 for those programs. Programs that Misha Kaysen knows work. Kaysen has an adult son who has a mental health condition. She wants to end the silence and break all of the stigmas.
Individuals become more comfortable with seeking the help because no one is behind their bikes talking about them or making fun of them or saying negative.
All right, so hold on, let me
Negative comments about them.
This also comes as...
All right, so That is one of the big things about mental illness. I'm not saying anybody's mental illness is worse than anybody else's, but there is a stigma. All right, so being a man in the South, being a Southern gentleman, there is a stigma. If you come out, and I don't want anybody to think I'm ever saying anything bad about my parents, my mom, or my dad. But like, if you, Gen X, Generation X in the 90s, if you went to your parents and said, "Oh, I'm depressed," what do you got to be depressed about? What do you got to be? Just be happy. What do you got to be depressed about? You just have to go to school and do this and do that. You ain't got to pay bills. Just, you're a man. Be happy. There is that stigma that a lot of men, especially in the South, they will not seek help. And that's kind of what happened to me. I self-medicated. I was drinking and drugging it up, taking all types of drugs and everything. It's just, that's the way that it is. Thank you, Fozzie. Fozzie, you should get an Emmy with your start-stop work tonight, kid. A lot of people think that, they might not be a fan of Fozzie, but Fozzie knows talk radio. He knows the insides and out of the business. And he recognized, game recognizes game.
More people are putting access to health care for mental health as priorities. According to a perception survey called the Harris Poll, the number of people who thought they had a mental condition jumped to 67% this year. That's a 10% increase from 2018. There's also a push for people to be more aware of any possible warning signs, as that same poll shows that 1 in 3 people feel they can tell when someone is considering suicide. There's not only a plea for people to seek help, but one for more mental health professionals, including licensed behavioral clinicians and trained counselors. The Rural Health Information Hub.
My psychiatrist, she graduated from the University of Alabama. She's a big Crimson Tide fan. With all my family growing up in Gainesville, that it's like, Nick Saban. You want to know what I found laughable? That Nick Saban, he's always been known to be tough on his players and stuff. He was on the Today Show talking with Hoda Kotb about, how it's important that we need to make sure about the mental health of college football players. And I'm like, is this the same Nick Saban that just is up every player's asshole nonstop? I've seen Nick Saban win 52-7, and he'll still find a way to bitch and complain about how his players didn't play hard enough. And he's out there talking about, we got to worry about players' mental health and stuff. I mean, proof is in the pudding. I mean, look at how many natties, national championships Saban has won.
Hub says there is a shortage of professionals nationwide. Florida needs more than 382 more practitioners to end the state shortage. Through it all, Tipley believes there is hope, and most importantly, there is help.
It's okay to talk about it, that you're not alone.
Reporting, I'm Aaron Farrar, Channel 4, the local station.
Yeah. I know, a lot of you guys. So I went up, did all this help, and it's something that is personal to me. So that was great. But, there were so many, single ladies that were there donating their time. I'm like, okay, well, I'm spending my Saturday doing all this. Vulture's wife did not even, give me the hookup or introduction to any of the ladies. Vulture. So yeah, if you're wanting to find out more how you can help this organization, it is NAMI Jax, NAMI Jax, JAX.org. That is NAMI, NAMI Jax.org. And this is something that I'm going to get into. I want to help out. Fozzie, see, thank you, Fozzie. You know, a lot of people would think that it's wrong for me to think about that. Volunteer is a great way to meet the opposite sex. Exactly. I mean, I know that a lot of people are probably like, oh, Fozzie, did you donate any of your fat cash that you've been talking about? No, I'm being upfront. No, I didn't. There was another fundraiser going on, another walk on the same day that was blocking it off. So I was out kind of drawing people in because the main road going into where the fundraiser was happening was kind of cut off. So I was doing that. But I will write a check. Fozzie, I don't want you to think I'm overselling what I'm making, but what do you think a good donation to NAMI, NAMI Jax.org would be? If I was going to write a check, what would be a good amount for me to write to NAMI Jax? And if you guys would like to call in, you can call in and talk to me, 407-270-3044. Once again, that is 407-270-3044. The beginning of October.
This guy.
I think this might be one of his...
Ozzy says that is an IRS question. Okay, I got you. I mean, I could write off any of that. So Halloween started. I've never understood this. Why do people love Halloween? Some people just love Halloween. I'm not riding a G-ball, Foz. Sorry. I'm not doing that. No, sorry. I mean, I did volunteer my time, and I'll do whatever I can, but I'm not riding a G-ball. Sorry. But, so Halloween started. A lot of people just love Halloween. People decorated. They love Halloween more than they like Christmas. But, a lot of people like to break world records and stuff. Well, this guy is, I guess, growing a big-ass pumpkin in his front yard.
Lord, get a load of this guy.
I think this might be one of his biggest ever.
A giant prize of a pumpkin that was just named the largest in Illinois by the Illinois Giant Pumpkin Growers Association.
People that have never seen it before, that's what it's all about, seeing those reactions.
Joe Atkins is that gifted grower who found his calling carving pumpkins and wanted more.
Well, that's creep. That is a creepy ass pumpkin. Ugh. I go to this produce and now everybody, they sell gourds. They love gourds. People love gourds. And can you really even eat some of the gourds? I love, baked pumpkin seeds and all that stuff. But can you really eat any of the gourds? I love spaghetti squash. I love butternut squash. I don't know, man.
With the carving aspect, I wanted to get into bigger and bigger mediums, so I decided that I'd have to grow them to get to the size that I wanted to carve.
Now, at the risk of playing whack-a-mole, Mark, I'm going to give you some...
All right, so I don't know. Like, I want the news to just give me the straight news, but look at how creative. He said, I'm not trying to play whack-a-mole, whatever. Here, let's see.
Playing whack-a-mole, Mark.
So he just talked about himself in the third person, Mark Rivera. So look at this. Whack-a-mole Mark.
I'm going to give you some of the stats on these gargantuan gourds. This is the biggest squash in Illinois, weighing in at 929 pounds. This is Joe's.
See, editing magic. He's behind the second biggest gourd.
Second biggest pumpkin at 1,580 pounds. And this is it, the biggest.
Now he's behind the biggest gourd.
This pumpkin in Illinois weighing in at 1,760 pounds.
1760.
All right. So this is where this guy messed up on marketing. Nobody's actually going to weigh the pumpkin, but you got it at 1,760. You're so close to 1,776. How do you not know how to work? How do you not know I'm at 1,760 pounds. Let's just make it 1776, the birth of the United States of motherfucking America. I mean, it would have made the story way much better. It would have been better for marketing. But no, you stopped at 1,760 when you just could have said 1776. Learn how to work, kid.
60 was enough to give us the first place this year, so we were happy.
At its peak, that super squash was growing at 40 pounds a day and taking in 150 gallons of water.
Wow. You couldn't have grown this pumpkin in the West with Lake Mead getting down to drought levels. They're hurting for so much water out there in the West that they're finding barrels with bodies that the mafia used to throw out into the lake. They're like, oh, forget about it. Nobody's ever going to find that. No, guess what? Global warming. We're finding all the bodies you dumped out for people that were that owed gambling debts.
Every 24 hours for 3 months, and it's attracting quite the crowd.
I was kind of shocked when I saw it. I was like, this is really cool here. I'm surprised they don't have it at the fairground.
This guy always seems to have the biggest pumpkin, so he's got some kind of secret sauce.
And not a lot of stuff going on in that community.
But for Atkins, it's all about growing inspiration.
I have been growing since I...
Oh, why would you let your kid get on camera when he has a speech impediment like this?
Growing inspiration.
I have been growing
I've been growing
since I was probably 7, and he has been mentoring me, and he has been
He's been mentoring me?
Helping me?
There is a rascally rabbit coming after our gourds.
Now, thanks to Atkins, 10-year-old Andrew Engel is giving them pumpkin to talk about.
I just feel like it's cool because no other kid grade grows pumpkins, and I feel like it's...
I think this might be...
You know what? This makes me a complete scumbag. That I'm making fun of a kid. I used to have a speech impediment too. I used to say, instead of saying 3, I said free. I'll go 1, 2, free. I don't know. I think as a parent, you got to protect your kid, your child from getting out there and I don't know. I think that I'm just trying to make myself feel better about this. Racist locker room.
Racism, another investigation.
Now, the reason why I wanted to play this story, So they're doing this story about a visiting football team, about some racist stuff that was written in the visiting locker room. And the reason why I have a problem with this story is that I've always thought this way. I don't think that the news should ever edit itself. The news should give you the facts, no matter how offensive, how ugly they may be. So they do this report on this story, and they don't even talk about what racist type of stuff that was written in the locker room. And it just feels like, top eye pop, top eye pop, top eye pop. They're just working you, but they're not giving you the splizz.
This locker room racism, another investigation underway tonight after racist graffiti was found during a local high school football game. The racist words were discovered last night by the Del Campo High School football team.
All right, so we probably can jump to conclusion and say that it's probably racially motivated towards African Americans.
Written in their visiting locker room at Vista Del Lago High School. The Folsom Cordova Unified School District issued a statement denouncing the racist message and announcing.
What is it? A lot of people think I'm trying to shock jock, but if you're going to do a story about racist stuff written in a locker room, shouldn't you kind of detail what was said?
An investigation. Now, this is the third racial incident involving a local high school football team in Yuba City. River Valley High's varsity team forfeited its season after several players were suspended for holding a reenactment of a slave auction.
Oh, okay. So I was right.
And Amador High in Sutter Creek had its varsity season canceled after a group chat among players was discovered that was said to have racial undertones.
Okay, so I would like to get your feedback in the chat room, or if you'd like to call, you can 407-270-3044. Do you think it's good that the news is editing and not telling us what was said? Because I think that we need to be slapped in the face with the hard truth. I'm not trying to get like any satisfaction in them saying what was written, but I think that's a part of the news. I think that it is poor journalism that the news doesn't have enough balls to tell us what was said. That's why I would like your feedback in the chat room, or you guys can give me a call. Like I said, 407-270-3044. And here's another one. This is a story that I've had in the archives for a while. I haven't gotten to, but it kind of relates to what I'm talking about. Dave, Dave, you probably get your weed from True Leaf in Edgewater. I get mine from part of True Leaf. Good, Dave Darkness, you kind of nailed it.
Yes, Steve, the racial slurs are gone, but the damage is done. Take a look for yourself here. One resident waking up to those hateful words spray painted right here in front of his
They're gone.
driveway.
Let's see if they talk about it.
People have recently been empowered to say the quiet part out loud and not pay a price for it.
A neighbor out on their morning walk in Raleigh.
Ooh. Okay. You guys know, well, if you're watching this visually, you can kind of blank end lives don't matter. All right, so kind of get the idea on this one.
Renaissance Park made this shocking discovery in front of Matt Moore's home. Vandals spray painting "N-word lives don't matter."
Not a lot of surprise.
Okay. I mean, I think that's offensive. Even if you're white, black, Spanish, Asian, I think that's offensive. But why is the news interviewing a white person? Maybe I need to watch this a little bit more. But if this was written in front of his house, yeah, it sucks. You don't agree with it. I get it. But why are they interviewing a Caucasian right now? If I'm off basis, I would like to be told that I'm off basis.
Just because our Black Lives Matter sign has been stolen twice in the last 2 years.
They also spray painted graffiti on this sign.
Oh, I get it. So he's got Black Lives Matter signs and stuff. I get it.
In his front yard. He's since flipped it over.
We buy these signs in bulk because sometimes they get stolen.
And neighbors like Matt Jorgensen have plenty of other signs on deck in his garage to replace it with.
That's what the community is about. We're all about inclusion here. So we are very pro inclusion and very pro just everybody matters and everybody should be here.
We're going to double down, and everyone is going to have a sign exactly like Matt. Some of us are doing multiple signs.
And you can tell by the response that hate has no place here. More turning a negative into a positive. Donating $500 to the Black Voters Matter Fund in honor of the vandals.
I mean, I think this is great. But like, I think it's great. You know, there's a lot of people that are actually pissed off right now at, Kanye West over the weekend had a show for his new wardrobe line. And a lot of the models and stuff, even Kanye West, wore T-shirts that said "White Lives Matter." And I know a lot of people are pissed off at Kanye and stuff. And I can understand why a lot of people are pissed off about Kanye, but if I'm just being honest, I think Kanye Kanye should be doing goddamn terrestrial radio. Because Kanye is one of the greatest trolls of all time. And now, do I agree with Kanye with his comments on the Jews and stuff? No, I don't. But you guys have all got to understand, Kanye is a marketing, trolling genius. He is. Fozzie says a sidewalk Smollett, if you will. But everybody's pissed off. Everybody is so mad about Kanye wearing White Lives Matter shirts. And I agree with you, Dave. Dave Darkness 696. Hate is bad in any fashion.
His neighbors now planning to match that.
Whoever did this, this one's on you. Congratulations.
And Moore did file a police report, and no one has been arrested, but he does want to applaud the city of Raleigh for coming out so quickly and removing that graffiti that would have been behind me here. We're live in Raleigh. I'm Akila Davis, ABC 11 Eyewitness News.
All right, guys, I'm going to get out of here, and I promise you, I know that I have been part-time Pat, like Fozzie, if you will, called me out. If I'm being honest, Fozzie kind of lit a fire under my ass. So I will be doing a show every single night. Tonight, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I'm going to be doing a show every night this week. So I want to thank everybody that checked out tonight's show. If you're listening to this live and you want to check out my archive, every single show that I have ever done since the beginning, Tuddle Daily Podcast, episode 1, I think I'm on like 710 now. All 700 of the previous shows that I've done are available audio-wise. They're available on iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio, 315live.com, or TuneInRadio.com. Just search Tuddle, Tuddle. And if you're listening to this on the audio version and you want to catch the live stream live, you can do that every night, 7 p.m. YouTube.com/Tuddle, Twitch.tv/Tuddle on the radio, Facebook.com/Tuddle, or Twitter.com/Tuddle. I'm going to get out of here, guys. I want to thank everybody that checked out tonight's show. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys stay safe. And I will talk to you tomorrow.